Sono commosso, onorato. Grazie mille, signor Giuffra e cara signora Schramm, Presidente. Gentil signor Lies, in italiano si dice come in francese, Lies. Gentile consigliera nazionale Mark Walder, carissima Krista. Eccellenze, which is the translation of excellencies. Dear young leaders, gentile Josie. Thank you for this kind introduction. It is my great pleasure to spend this evening with you. I've long been a great fan of the Young Leaders Conference. Its notion of learning from each other, creating bonds of friendship, and fostering mutual understanding is really inspirational. It is just what the world needs in these difficult times. Ladies and gentlemen, when I think about Switzerland and the US, there is this peculiar metal plaque hanging just around the corner here on the Lobecke that often comes to mind. On this plaque, you will find all the places in the US that have taken up the names of Berne, as well as the distance to these places. 6 of these places have shown limited creativity and simply call themselves, well, Berne. 5 other places call themselves New Berne. Already creative. The last 2 are the really creative ones. First, there is a Berneville, Pennsylvania, and then my favorite one, East Bernstadt, Kentucky. Is anyone from one of these Berns? Unfortunately, nobody. So why am I telling you all this? I would like to make you aware of how much Switzerland is in the US and how close ties between our countries are. Close personal ties, close historical ties, close cultural ties, and of course close economic ties. This year, the US has become the biggest market for Swiss exports worldwide. The biggest market. And there is potential for even closer ties, considering that there is no free trade, not yet, between our countries. Now my notes say to give an expectant look to all Americans. It's done. Dear young leaders, this year we have all witnessed a strategic game changer in Europe. Russia's brutal military aggression against Ukraine has brought war back to Europe and collapsed Europe's security order. It was a shock for all of us, for all people of my generation who believed it wouldn't be possible. This war is an outrageous attack on sovereign state, on democracy, on freedom. Switzerland has strongly condemned the aggression as a serious violation of international law and called on Russia to withdraw from all Ukrainian territories. And we have taken up EU sanctions. Same day when we took up the EU sanctions, President Biden, in a late-night show, told, even Switzerland, and added then, gives up its neutrality. Not at all. This is not true. This is possible within our neutrality. This is in line with neutrality law and with the Swiss conception of neutrality. We cannot simply stand by and watch the brutal violation of our values and how Russia puts might over right. Neutrality is not indifference. The twin of Swiss neutrality is our solidarity. Recently, I was in Kiev. I learned what people in Ukraine now need. First, they need help. Help to make it through the winter. This is why the Federal Council which is the name of the Swiss government, has recently committed another 100 million Swiss francs of humanitarian aid for Ukraine. Second, people need hope. Also on this, we are working hard. Switzerland initiated the Ukraine Recovery Conference together with Ukraine in Lugano last July. As a result, on this conference, the international community agreed on what it is today called the 7 Lugano Principles, which are the basics of the reconstruction of Ukraine. These serve as a basis for all the follow-up conferences on the reconstruction of Ukraine. This gives the Ukrainian people prospects for the future, and having prospects means having hope. Ladies and gentlemen, Switzerland take his responsibility. But neutrality law also defines limits. Being neutral means no participation in war, no right of military passage, and no supplying of troops or arms to warring parties. Even though I understand criticism, this is no matter of arguments, but a matter of our law. Ladies and gentlemen, we realize a period of security and prosperity has drawn to an end. And there is no new order in sight. Crises even overlap. Geopolitics and great power competition shape international dynamics. Globalization is in reverse gear. The world is becoming more fragmented again. Democracy is in retreat. Now authoritarianism is in vogue. According to the human rights organization Freedom House, in the last 16 years, there have been more states with regressions in political freedoms than those with progress. And to you, dear young leaders, I needn't say anything about the consequences of the 6th of January 2021. But also in Europe, confidence in democratic institutions is declining. So, how democracies deal with the authoritarian challenge, externally as well as internally, is a major question of our time. And although I'm aware that liberal democracies also produce failures, I'm convinced that they are part of the solution to our problem. This is why fostering democracy will be a priority of Swiss foreign policy in the coming 4 years. Let me conclude with relating all this back to Swiss-US relations. This year, Switzerland and the United States have deepened our bilateral relationships by institutionalizing a dialogue on strategic partnership. We also have launched an exciting new cooperation on quantum information science and technology, and we have jointly established a fund to benefit the people of Afghanistan. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, there is a lot of Switzerland in the US and a lot of the US in Switzerland. Maybe this is what motivated President Biden to mention Switzerland for the second time in a row in his State of the Union address this year. Who knows, with one of these examples, we might go for the hat trick in January. Dear alumni, as a reminder of the close ties between Switzerland and the United States, I have brought you a small gift. What is it? Just keep it though, please. It's a copy of the map Helvetica Americana. It shows cities in the United States with names that go back to places in Switzerland. May it help you carry the names of Switzerland to even more places in your heart in the United States. Now I'm giving an expectant look to all of you, dear young leaders. I wish you fruitful discussion. Josie, maybe you can join me here in the front of the audience and just open the picture in order for everybody to see
I'm going to
it.
put this right here real quick. That's
This is the gift for me later on.
This is a two-hand job. Oh, this is a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure, but you have
Nails.
yes, nails and the right fingers to do that.
Yeah, where's the Swiss Army knife when we need it?
So great. Helvetica Americana. And there is a copy for every one of you in the room. You can distribute them, please. Thank you so much. Dear young leaders, again, it's a great pleasure to be among you this evening. Will allow me to leave you a little bit earlier because tomorrow it's an important day with the weekly meeting of the Swiss government, which I have to lead. So I still have to read some hundreds pages of documentation until tomorrow. I wish you fruitful discussion and an unforgettable conference in Switzerland. Please discover our country. It is a beautiful country. It's a country I love and enjoy your stay in Switzerland. Thank you so much.
Mr. President, on behalf of the young leaders, and I think I can speak freely for everyone in this room, we thank you for your friendship to the United States and your service to the country of Switzerland. And thank you for being so hospitable to us as we've been here. It has been a phenomenal trip that I know a lot of us cannot and will never forget. And I would love for you to accept the biography of George Washington.
Not by.
Not by.